Okay, guys. So, as I was saying, yesterday we started working on task number 2, which is the independent one, right? We said it's pretty simple. You get the question, and then you get 30 minutes, and you gotta write your essay. All right, in those 30 minutes. Now, do you guys remember what this question was about?
About telling the truth or be dishonest.
Exactly. It was about telling the truth or being dishonest, right? Basically, honesty. And the question itself was, do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Sometimes it's better to be dishonest with people than to always tell them the truth, right? Remember, we said they always give you options. It's never an open question. In this case, we have two options. We can say, well, I agree. I think that it's better to be dishonest sometimes, or I disagree. I think that it's always better to tell the truth. And we chose the second one, if I'm not wrong. Yep, we did choose the second one. And we already started writing the essay, right? We wrote the introduction. Can anyone tell me, please, what did we have in the introduction? What are the 3 sentences that we need in our intro?
The first sentence is the topic in general. The second is our opinion. And the third is I don't remember.
Okay, but you're good with the first and second. The first is the topic in general. The second is our opinion. It has to be very straightforward, super direct. And the third was just like a transition, right? And that is going to help you transition from the intro to the body of your essay. All right. And we already started with the body paragraph, right? We said that in the body, the 2 main things that you should definitely have. First thing is the reason, right? Remember how many reasons do we need to give here in our essay? How many?
2.
Exactly. We gotta have always 2 reasons, right? Now, in the first body paragraph, we need to talk about the first reason. So the main things that you should have in the first body paragraph are reason 1 and example 1, right? Or any justification to prove your point. We already started, right? We were looking at the sentences. We said the first sentence should be the reason, and it has to be direct as the opinion. So we said, to start, telling the truth is practical and easier than being dishonest, right? That was our first reason. Then in the second sentence, we did some explaining. So we were gonna explain a little bit more about our reason, right? And how do we explain? We say why, how, when, or in what sense, in which circumstance, right? So here we're just talking in general that telling the truth is easier. And in the second one, we are explaining basically why, right? We're saying, as a matter of fact, when somebody's honest, there's no need of making up or keeping up with false stories. That was the reason and the explanation. Now, after that, this is the most important part. We need to come up and make up a story, right? We need to give an example supporting what we're saying. Now, this story doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to be a personal experience of yours, but it's gonna be basically something that you totally make up. We're gonna say, my personal experience plainly illustrates this reality. Now, the first thing is obviously gonna give some context about where the example took place, when, maybe we can say, when I was 15 years old, when I was in high school, when I was dating this girl from Argentina, or I don't know, when I was living in Canada. So we're giving context as to where or when this happened. So what can we say? Can we think of an example? Let's just brainstorm. What can our example be about? Can you guys make up a story illustrating how it's easier to tell the truth? How it's easier not to have to keep up with these stories? What do you guys think? Any ideas? What can we say? Come on, guys, think of a story. Make something up. A situation in which it will be easier to be honest instead of making up lies.
Maybe um and I was with a girl and she was asking me about I don't know her clothes, and I prefer to be honest because uh, if I if I was or if yes if I was or just something like that. Or maybe if I didn't tell the truth, she uh, she will keep doing or dressing, I don't know, things that she can, dressing things that uh, they are not okay or something like that.
Okay. All right, I just wrote it down like in the same way that you said it. But now we're gonna think about it and we're gonna see what can we do to improve this. So let's see the context. I was with a girl and she asked me about her clothes. All right, I would try to be a little bit more specific. Like, who was this girl? Was this your sister? Was this your girlfriend? Was this your, I don't know, like your daughter? So who was her? What can we say to be more specific? Because remember, right, the question says use specific details. So we gotta be as specific as we can be. What can we say?
Mm, my my aunt.
Okay, my aunt. And like, when did this happen? Were you going shopping together? Or was it like, were you getting ready for a party and she showed you her clothes? Or was it maybe her birthday and she wanted to wear, I don't know, like maybe a weird dress? Like, more context. When did this happen? Where it happened? Like, what was the situation? What was going on when this happened?
My aunt. Uh, I don't know what to say. My aunt tried to go uh, with her friends, and asked me about her clothes.
Okay. So yes, we can say something like, my aunt once went shopping with her friends, and when she got home, or I don't know, yeah, after she got home, or as soon as she got home, she asked me excited, or yeah, she she asked me Yeah, she asked me about the clothes she had bought, right? Something like that. So I'm being more specific. I'm giving more details. So my aunt once went shopping with her friends, and as soon as she got home, she asked me about the clothes she had bought. Or she asked me what I thought about the clothes that she had bought. Right? Is it okay so far? Do we keep it like that? Anything you guys want to change?
Yes.
All right. So that is the context, right? That is like before the actual event. So my aunt went shopping with her friends. As soon as she got home, she was really excited. She showed me the clothes. She asked me what I thought about it, right? Now, this sentence is pretty long, and I don't recommend you guys have long sentences in your essay. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna break it down to different sentences. And where do you divide the sentences? Where you have these connectors. So try not to use too much words like and, so, but, because. So instead of and, we're gonna place a period and then we continue. Now, I prefer to be honest. So why did you prefer to be honest? What was wrong with your clothes? Let's be a bit more specific. Camila, what can you say? What can we add in here? Are you there, Camila?
Yes. I prefer to be honest because if I like her, she can be getting angry with me.
Okay. Because if I lied to her, she could have gotten angry with me. All right, I like this, but like the two things that we said, once that if I lied to her, like if I had lied to her, she could have gotten angry with me, is a great reason, right? But that is not what we're saying in a reason. Remember that your example has to be connected with the reason. In a reason, we're saying that you have to tell the truth because it's easier than being dishonest. So the reason why you told her the truth should be because it's easier, right? Or maybe we can do the opposite and say, well, I actually lied to her and then I had to keep up with the lie. And it wasn't easy. So I would have preferred to be honest. So your example has to be related, has to illustrate how lying is not easy. So in this example, we need to make sure that we're doing that. So how was this like, how would lying to her would have been unpractical? What can we say to explain that or to illustrate that? What can we do? What do you guys think? What do we do? Come on. Did you understand what I said? Does it make sense?
Mm, yeah. But so we have to.
I mean, in your example, what you guys have to do is demonstrate how in this single experience, it is more practical and easier to tell the truth than to be dishonest. That's what you need to do here. Illustrate how being or lying is not practical or is not easy, right? So how can we do that?
Mm, maybe we could change the second The second part,
Okay, what part?
maybe if I like to hear, um, or yes, she, or maybe another, or I don't know, or maybe I prefer to be honest because I didn't know, or maybe I don't know. It's complicated.
Mm, honestly, I mean, this example, I don't think it's really like true. It doesn't fit that well with the reason. Because the reason is about being easy to tell the truth. But in this case, lying too would have been easier. So like both of them would have been easy. So it's like maybe what we could do is like instead of saying that I was honest, we can say that I actually lied to her. I thought that the clothes she bought were horrible, and I told her the opposite. I thought that I said that she looked pretty. And then maybe I had to keep up with the lie. And like, I don't know, maybe I didn't want her to wear that dress to her wedding night. I don't know, not wedding night, but something like that. We can do that. What do you guys think? What do we do? Like, if you
Yes,
say that, sorry?
mm, yes, we could say maybe if, if I like to her and I get in trouble with my grandma or something.
I like that. I love that because yes, that is showing that it's easier. It was easier for you to just tell her the truth. Because if you had lied to her, then you would have gotten in trouble. Careful here with the conditional sentence. Make sure that you review grammar. This is the third conditional that you should be using. When you say, if I lied to her, I would get in trouble. In Spanish, what you're saying is, si yo le mintiera, me metería en problemas. So you're speaking like if it was right now that's happening. But this happened in the past. So what you have to say is, si yo le hubiera mentido, me hubiera metido en problemas. So that is the third condition, right? Make sure that you check it out. So we're going to say, if I had lied to her, si le hubiera mentido, if I had lied to her, I would have gotten, which means me hubiera metido in trouble. Okay, so make sure that you check the third condition. I would have gotten in trouble with my grandma. Who else? What else are we gonna say? Maybe we're gonna say with my grandma and the rest of my family, right? So that is it. Now, as you can see, the first part is the context, right? Which is my aunt once went shopping with her friends and she asked me what I thought about the clothes she bought. That is basically the context. We're preparing the scene, right? What was going on? What was happening? Now we talk about the events, right? So what happened? What happened is that I was honest. It has to be related with the topic, right? The topic here is lying. So what happened has to be that I either lied or I was honest. So we're gonna highlight it, let's say with the color green, right? This is what happened. Now, finally, what you need is a little bit of a resolution. So you have to kind of come to a conclusion based on this example. So you have to come to a conclusion based on this. And that conclusion needs to be related to your reason. It has to go back to the reason. So if your reason is that telling the truth is more practical and easier, then you have to connect that idea with the example. So for instance, here you can say, in this situation, it was way easier to me to tell the truth. As I got to avoid problems, right? So something like that. Of course, it doesn't have to be this, but that is the way that you come to a conclusion. You're connecting this specific event with a reason. The reason is that it is better, it is easier, right? So in this situation, it was easier for you. You know? Is it okay? Do you guys get the idea? Any questions so far? Do you guys have any questions?
No.
All right. Now that is basically the body part. All right, that is our first body part. We're gonna paste this in here. All right. Now remember, you have to have two reasons, so you need two body paragraphs. In the second body paragraph, you're gonna do exactly the same as we did in the first. You're still gonna have one reason. You're gonna explain the reason, and then you're gonna give an example. Now, the good thing is, since you have already given a personal example in the first body paragraph, then you don't need to give another personal example. You have to do something simpler, something shorter, because this is pretty long, honestly. So in the second body paragraph, it's enough if you just give like a general example for the support, or if you state a fact, right, and say, furthermore, most relationships are damaged because of lies. And then you say, for instance, I read on an article that the number one or 80% of divorces in the US are caused because of lies within the marriage. So I'm just making something up and it is way shorter than this, right? Than what I said in the first. Is that okay? Do you get the idea of how to write the second body paragraph? Any questions about that? Right? So in the second, you have your reason and you say, furthermore, lying or lies are sooner or later uncovered and they end up breaking relationships and, I don't know, affecting negatively the people in them, right? So that can be my reason, right? I'm saying that lies are sooner or later uncovered and that they damage relationships and affect the people in them. So that is the first part. That is my reason. After your reason, what did we have to do? What was the second sentence? Are you there, Camila?
Yes.
What was the second sentence after the reason?
Explaining, right?
Exactly. Now we have to explain the reason a little bit more. So go farther. What could you say? If this was a reason, what would you say?
Mm,
What can we say? What else would you say? So to continue with the same idea.
Ay, no se me ocurre nada. Mm,
I mean, this is regarding relationships. So what could you say?
Um,
Can we say?
by the way,
Okay. I believe you said.
no, by the way,
By the way, okay.
when when we honest,
Okay. When we're honest.
um, we look like
Sorry, we.
um, we look like better person.
Okay, we look like
Decimos
better people.
mejores personas.
All right, I get the idea, and it's great. But you know, in the second body paragraph, everything has to be about only one thing. So if your idea here is that lies are always uncovered and that they break relationships, then you have to continue with the same idea. And your example is going to be about the same idea as well. Same thing as here, right? All of this paragraph, everything is about the fact that the truth is always more practical and easy. So everything here has to be about relationships. So maybe I don't know. Yes, I like it is related to relationships, not so much, but I think we can keep it. You know, but just as a tip, make sure that everything in your paragraph relates to only one idea. Although it's good, I think we can keep it. All right, so that's it. We have the reason and we have the example. Now we need to, I'm sorry, we have the reason and we have the explanation. Now we need to give another example, right? Example illustrating this idea about relationships and that we look better. Now, as I was telling you, if we have already had a personal experience in the first one, that's already long, that already has good grammar. You know, honestly speaking, this grammar is great because we have past tenses, we have the third conditional, we have compound sentences. So we need, I mean, everything we need to have is already there. Now, in the second one, we don't have to get complicate so much. In the second one, in our example, go with something simpler. So I told you two options, right? The first is you can go with a general example. So think about a hypothetical situation, right? Like let's say, for instance, if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, or if you have a partner, or if you're married, and if you lie to them about little things, then they will end up causing a divorce, right? So it's a very short and very general idea. I'm not going with something personal as in the first. Or the second option was to make up something, make up a fact. So you can say, for instance, I read in the newspaper, I read in the BBC magazine that 85% of divorces in the US are caused by one of the partner or one of the spouses lying. So something like that. You have those two options. What do you guys want to do? What do we say for our support? What can we say?
I have an idea.
Okay.
For instance, when we tell the truth to our partner, they trust us more.
Okay, they choose us more?
Yes. Que confían más en nosotros.
Okay. So they trust more in us. Okay, good. I like that. When we tell the truth to our partner, they trust more in us. All right. Anything else? Do you want to add anything else here?
Maybe they trust or he or she trusts more in us. He feels or maybe he or she feel more confident when we tell us about her or his problems.
Okay. When they tell us about their problems, I like that too. Maybe we can add like a transition in there and say, what else? What's more, like además or besides, they feel more confident when they tell us about their problems. Great. I love the fact that you guys are talking about the fact that the relationship gets better, right? When we're honest, the relationship is better. So you're illustrating that with the example. I like that. Anything else you guys want to add in here? Instead of saying he or she, we're just going to keep when they tell us about their problems. Anything else you guys feel like adding? I think that's fine, right? Maybe we can say overall, being honest helps improve our relationships. Improve and keep, right? That's it. Do you see, like, this is like the closing idea, you know, like overall being honest helps us or helps improve and keep our relationships. As you can see, there's a difference between paragraph 1 and 2, you know. The first one is longer, and that's the way it should be. Okay, always try to do the best you can and a little bit longer with a personal experience in the first, and in the second you go with something shorter, something simple. Okay. Any questions then about this? About our second body paragraph? Is it okay so far? Everything clear?
Yes.
All right, that's good. So after we have our two body paragraphs in our introduction, the only thing that's missing would be the conclusion. Now, in the conclusion, it's again gonna be very simple and it's short. Okay, don't expect something long in the conclusion because you don't have that much time at the end of the day. The only place where you have to be careful to have like a complete idea is in the body paragraphs. So that's why I told you, your body paragraph should be at least 5 lines long. Everything else could be less. Now, in the conclusion, what we're gonna do is two things. The first one is summarize the reasons. So that is reason 1 and reason 2. And the second one is restate your opinion. We're gonna restate the answer to the question. No? And that's it. So that's everything that your conclusion needs to have. First thing is summarize the reasons, and second thing is restate your opinion. All right, now how do we do that? We're gonna make this a little picture. Here's how we're gonna do it. In our template, we have this. In short, which basically means in conclusion, en conclusión, having seen that, which means habiendo visto que, okay? So in short, having seen that, habiendo visto que, and here we're gonna summarize the two reasons. We're gonna say, habiendo visto que decir la verdad es más práctico y fácil, y además las mentiras arruinan relaciones. So we're summarizing the two reasons, and then we're gonna say, I believe it is safe to say that, which means creo que es justo afirmar que, and then we restate our opinion, which is creo que es justo afirmar que siempre debemos decir la verdad, o siempre es mejor decir la verdad, ¿verdad? Que esa es nuestra opinión, lo que hemos puesto acá en el azul. Entonces, en conclusión, la conclusión tiene que ser corta. Primero resumimos las dos razones que ya hemos mencionado y luego volvemos a repetir nuestra opinión. You cannot add anything new in the conclusion. Please, that is one mistake that students make a lot. They start with another idea in the conclusion. No pongan otra idea que no tiene que ver con lo que ya mencionaba. Conclusión es un resumen de todo. So you're gonna say, in short, having seen that. Reason number 1, which is being honest is easier, right? Ser honesto es más fácil, easier and more practical. And reason number 2, let's say lies destroy relationships. We can say something like that. O si no podemos decir, and it helps us keep our relationships as well. De todas formas, es resumido las dos razones, right? Number 1, being honest is easier and more practical. And number 2, lies destroy relationships. So having seen those two reasons, I believe it's safe to say, es justo decir que, and then you restate your opinion, right? Which is that it is always better to tell the truth, no matter the circumstance. Now, please try not to copy and paste. Don't say the same. We're not gonna say, it is always better to tell the truth. Look for a paraphrase. How can we paraphrase our opinion to include it in our conclusion? What can we say there? How can we do that? How can we restate or paraphrase our opinion?
Maybe it's better to be honest.
Okay. It is always better to be honest, right? And that's it. That is your conclusion. I know it's short, but believe me, you don't really have a lot of time to go with something longer, and it doesn't need to be longer than that. As soon as you summarize everything in 1 or 2 lines, that's enough. Okay, guys? Any questions about that conclusion? No questions? So we are gonna Sorry. All right. We're gonna copy and paste this somewhere else so that this stays there. Right. So that is pretty much it. That is the structure of our essay, okay? Today and yesterday, we just talked about the structure of our essay. Basically, what you need to have, right? You need to have a transition here, the reason here, an explanation here, an example here, the summary of the reasons here, your opinion here. So we just talked about what you need to have, the structure of your essay. We didn't really talk about anything else, right? We didn't talk about how to improve vocabulary, how to improve grammar, how to like show more grammar, how to like avoid grammar mistakes, what grammar to use. All of that we're gonna do tomorrow. But in order for us to practice tomorrow and not waste time writing the essay, I'm gonna need you guys to write your second essay. You know, you have already written the first essay last week, which was the integrated writing. Some of you have submitted it, some of you haven't. Anyways, I checked it and I sent it back with some feedback. Now we're gonna do our second essay, okay? So what you guys need to do, and this is for tomorrow, by the way, this is due tomorrow. What you need to do is write an essay based on this question. This is gonna be the question. It says, my lifestyle is easier now, is easier and more comfortable than the one that my grandparents experienced when they were young. Okay? So you're gonna have to do an essay based on this question, using the same structure, please, using the same template. Try to do everything the way we did, so that tomorrow we can review it. Okay, guys? And you need to send it tomorrow before our class. I'm gonna send all the instructions through our group chat. Okay? Any questions about this? Please make sure that you do it, because if you don't, then tomorrow we're just gonna write another essay, you know? But if you do this, then tomorrow we're gonna check out your essays, and I'm gonna give you some tips based on what you write, you know? So I'm gonna give you feedback based on what you write. So try to make sure that you write the essay. Remember, how much time do you have to write the essay? How much
20
time?
minutes.
20 was for the previous one. In this one, how much time?
30 minutes.
Exactly. For this one, you got 30 minutes to write the essay. Okay? So please write the essay in 30 minutes and send it to the same mail. Although I'm gonna send the instructions, don't worry. Okay, guys? Any questions about that? I'm gonna send you the presentation now so that you can have it too. All right, guys. So, do you have any questions, any comments, anything before we go? All right. Then please don't go yet. Today we have to fill out 2 surveys. I'm sending you the first, which is the same we do as usual. And after you're done filling it out, I'll send you the other one, please. So please fill that out for me before you go. That's the first survey for today. Guys, I'm just missing one.
It just it doesn't appear.
Didn't appear on your screen? You sure?
Yes.
Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm gonna launch it again, please. I think, Camila, you have already submitted it, but I'm gonna send it again. Please fill it out again if you could. How can I do this? Okay, please, everyone, fill it out. Does it appear on your screen now, Ivana?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I think it does. Great. Okay, guys, there's one more, please, before you go. One more, and you are free to go. There you go. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I will be seeing you guys tomorrow. Remember, check out the group because I'll send the instructions there. And right, yes, it's just gonna take you 30 minutes, all right? You need to practice. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye.